So obviously there's a lot of options for people to get up to speed in SharePoint. Of course, I think that anyone who's going to be working with SharePoint and working with it in a significant way really should take training. And this is something that I've seen. I've been teaching SharePoint for 12 years, and I truly could not count the number of times that I've had students that have come in and there have been significant problems in their environment because they didn't take training first. There's a certain assumption about SharePoint that because it's classified under the Office umbrella, that it's something that doesn't require training. People don't necessarily need training to be able to use Word, and there's a little bit of that assumption when it comes to SharePoint, and that's simply not the case. SharePoint is in fact one of the most complex products that Microsoft makes. There are so many things that you can do with SharePoint. There's so many things that people don't even know about SharePoint that if you don't have some kind of training to A, understand what the product does, and B, understand how to make the product work the best, you are most likely going to have what we would consider a failed SharePoint implementation. Again, time and again, I've had students come through and at some point in the class, they've come to me and said, if I had known that when we set up SharePoint, or if I had known that when I inherited SharePoint, our system would be better now. And I've had students that are, on Monday, I have to go back and we are going to reinstall SharePoint now that I understand how to install it properly. And that's a big cost or benefit, depending on which side you look at it, that people don't account for in SharePoint. And that's something that, you know, the benefit of training so outweighs whatever you're paying to send someone to it, that I think it's a missed benefit that people have with SharePoint quite frequently. Anyone who's taken a Microsoft certification exam over the last few years knows that Microsoft has made their exams far more difficult than they were previously. They're looking at not only having an in-depth knowledge of the product that you're working with, but also looking at a solutions-based approach to solving problems and looking at different scenarios and how their product best works within those scenarios. You really now have to have a combination of classroom learning with hands-on evaluation. Now, one thing that they've done that I find has been a good thing over the last few editions of their products is they're making the exams more closely aligned to the actual courses that we're providing. So whether you're looking at taking the core exams either for administration or for development or the advanced exams, having gone through the core courses or gone through the advanced courses is really going to give you that informational basis that's going to work for the exam. However, it's really not going to be sufficient in terms of everything you need for the exam. There is definitely going to be a need for you to get your hands on the product and to work with the product and really become familiar and go beyond even what's in, say, the lab work. And that's one place that I think the global knowledge environment is really going to be helpful because we have 6 months access to the lab environment. So you can go through and you definitely want to complete the labs and be comfortable with the labs because they will help you on the exams. But beyond that, if you go and you look at the learning objectives that are in the Microsoft exam pages on Microsoft's site, then when you see objectives that weren't 100% covered in the class, you have this environment, this protected environment, where you can go in and you can really hit that and get the hands-on and get that experience that you need to successfully complete the exams.